Coming up on Network Africa, voting underway in Somalia's Breakaway region of Somaliland. Russia deploys 200 military instructors to Equatorial Guinea to protect the president. Plus, cases of new Mpox strain more than doubled among children in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. Voting is underway in Somaliland's long-delayed presidential election amid political tension in the Horn of Africa. Local media report hopeful voters lining up as they're keeping their fingers crossed for a stronger economy and more jobs. More than 1 million people are expected to vote at over 2,000 stations, with 28 international observers on site. Incumbent President Muse Bihi Abdi of the Kumiye party is seeking to clinch a second term, aiming for Somaliland's international recognition. His opponent from the Wadani party, Abdirahman Mohamed Abdullahi, is promising democratic reforms, while Faisal Ali Warabe of the Justice and Welfare Party is advocating a unity government. Well, joining us now for more on this is Mohammed Yusuf, Nairobi correspondent for the VOA, who's been monitoring the elections. Hello, Mohammed. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Well, talk to us about the conduct of the elections today, especially since the polls opened.
Somaliland residents have this morning gone to the polls to elect a new president who will govern the country for another 5 years. Most of the polling stations open at 6 in the morning, and the polling stations have already closed this from 6 to 6. And this is Somaliland sees this as a great milestone for its part of want to get independence. You may remember that Somaliland is a breakaway region of Somalia, and them electing their own leader, their own president, their own government, this is a very big thing for them. And so far it has remained very peaceful, but now results in a couple of hours will start trickling in particularly in major cities. But it will take more, maybe days, hours, before more results is got from other parts of the country.
And, you know, Somaliland is the center of disputes between Somalia and Ethiopia. I imagine this does not sit well with Somalia. Have we gotten any reaction from Mogadishu?
Just a day or 2 days ago, the Interior Ministry congratulated Somaliland and encouraged the people there to have free and fair elections, and urged the Commission to make sure that people vote for their own leaders. But this is sort of an irony for many Somalis, because that region sort of when it declared its own independence, it doesn't see itself as part of Somalia, Mogadishu. And Mogadishu now is here seeing this as also a progress for the country. But generally, that is a dispute that has been going on for the past 30 years. Now it has even been made worse by the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland early this year, and Somalia sees Somaliland part of its territory, but authorities there, people there, they think they need to have their own independent country, and that is something that has been going on. But that also creates more problems, more tension in the region, and part of that, Africa is very strategic, and it's going to not only problem for the country itself, for the people there, for the region, but also is going to create more problem for the continent, for the African Union. This is an issue of secession, and that is something that many African countries are grappling with.
All right, we're seeing three candidates, vying for the top position, including incumbent president. What are the issues, for the new leader, whoever that may be? What are the issues they will be facing, upon taking office?
for the leadership there, mostly has been about the issue of independence, secession, and looking for ways. And it has sort of also appeared that who can really twist Mogadishu and not willing to engage them and willing to go forward for that independence. But generally, if you look apart from relative peace and sort of stability that is there, but generally across that region, across that country, the problem are always similar, which is an economic issue. There's lack of employment. Agriculture is not a big thing there. They're getting all their produce again. Some parts of Somalia, of course, produces food, but they're also getting much of that food from part of Ethiopia. But they're trying to see how now they can move forward, because remember, there have been also conflicts for the past 2 years. They have enjoyed sort of relative peace, because out of that region, Somaliland, we're talking of 5 regions, but 2 regions are disputed, and for the past 2 years there's been war going on. And that is also why the problem, maybe when you talk of colonialism in Africa, has created now you have clans or communities from 2 regions who are saying we don't want to be part of that Somaliland, we want to be on our own. And here the other side saying we have to stay with us. And the questions have always remained for those people is you can't, of course, dictate for me a land or a territory that has been marked or demarcated by a colonialist. This is a debate generally not only for Somalia or Somaliland people there, but something that debates that goes across the country. And this is something maybe African Union has been very reluctant to discuss. But for the people there, the issue of breaking away from Somalia is a very huge thing for them. And this is what many people have been talking about. Of course, they would like to maintain the peace, build the education, the health sector like many other communities. But for them, that is getting out of Somalia, having their own independent country is something very huge for them that they'll be, the government, whoever comes in, will be working on in the next 5 years.
Indeed, Mohammed, just before I let you go, earlier on you were saying, results can start trickling in, but it could still take days. So when exactly can we expect the results, the final results?
Yeah, the election is just a one-day event, but of course the results always will start coming in the couple of hours. But they expect it to give about a week. But this is something that the Electoral Commission there would like to get done with it quickly because of the tensions that has built, sort of insecurity it has also created in that part of the country or part, whatever, whether it's Somaliland. This is something that they would like to give results quickly, so it doesn't give a room for speculations, it doesn't give room for more problems, for more insecurity, accusations of unfair elections, unfair results or rigging. That's something that the Electoral Commission will also be looking at and trying to make sure that it gives the result as soon as it can, so that the country and the people can move forward and look ahead on what they would like to do in the coming weeks, months and years in that part of Africa.
All right, and thank you so much, VOA's correspondent in Nairobi, Mohammed Yusuf. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, reports coming from Equatorial Guinea says Russia has deployed up to 200 military instructors to the country in recent weeks to protect the presidency, showing Moscow is expanding its footprint in West Africa despite a recent defeat in Mali. According to reports, the Russians are training elite guards in the 2 main cities of the country, where U.S. energy firms invested billions of dollars in the first decade of the century before scaling down. The deployment fits into a wider pattern of waning Western influence and increasing Russian interventions in West and Central Africa. To health matters now, cases of the new Mpox strain have more than doubled among children in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi since the health emergency was announced in mid-August. The fast-moving clade 1b strain has disproportionately affected children in the DRC, and that's the epicenter of the outbreak, and also in Burundi, where they face severe health risks due to hunger, displacement, and limited health care. These 2 countries account for 92% of all Mpox cases in Africa this year. Mpox causes fever, rash, lesions, severe headaches, and fatigue. Some children develop respiratory problems, and in severe cases, Mpox can lead to sepsis, a life-threatening response to infection. According to the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the total number of suspected and confirmed Mpox cases across Africa has surpassed 46,000 this year, with over 1,000 fatalities. Over at the COP29 climate summit happening in Baku, Azerbaijan, the Kenyan Prime Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, has called for increased climate finance. Mr. Mudavadi recounts recent experiences of his country to show how climate change effects are an everyday reality, and he's asking for a commitment to a collective goal of no less than $1.3 trillion annually from 2025 to meet the adaptation of loss damage needs of developing countries.
In Kenya, the impacts of climate change are an everyday reality. Currently, we are experiencing unusually warmer days, yet only 5 months ago, we experienced horrible floods that led to the deaths of 267 and displaced 281,000 people. The floods also destroyed critical infrastructure, including 1,967 schools, 62 health facilities. Besides, the droughts of last year destroyed livelihoods and killed over 2.4 million livestock. This finance COP can make it happen by agreeing to scale up the climate finance based on a new collective quantified goal, quantum for not less than $1.3 trillion annually from 2025. This is key to meet the adaptation and loss damage needs of developing countries. The COP should also agree on quantum of not less than $5.8 trillion for the implementation of NDCs by 2030. Further, we must agree to deliver this vital financing both in quality and urgency, as well as with transparency and ease of access. This is crucial in accelerating implementation of the national adaptation plans.
The French Embassy in Nigeria is promoting the need for Nigerians to be bilingual and fluent in the French language, as the opportunities for growth and self-development are immense. Recently, the embassy, alongside study organizations and institutions, created awareness at the University of Lagos, where they sought to attract students' interest in the language. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, reports.
Recent research indicates that a child by the age of 5 can learn up to 5 languages or even more. While many here at the multipurpose hall of the University of Lagos are way past that age, the French Embassy, through various professional groups, shows why it is never too late to learn another language, in this instance, French.
Language is a barrier to communicate, but if we want, we can go beyond the language. When I speak my French, you can understand. When you speak your English, you can understand. So we come together under the Chambers of Commerce to improve the knowledge of our people by understanding the English, French, and Portuguese as official language in West Africa. We need to identify a specific policy on how we can support the regional integration through the language.
Even more so in the armed forces, Superior Officer for the French Marine Troop, Lieutenant Colonel Raphael Chavancy, says learning the French language will boost employment opportunities in the sector and help to further personal ambitions.
Developing French language in the NAF is one of the 4 bilateral military cooperation priorities. If you're thinking to join the military, to serve your country, and to protect your people, I want to show you how learning French language could boost your career, make it more interesting, and make you more efficient. As you know, and as it has been said before, Nigeria is surrounded by French-speaking countries, and it is always useful to speak the language of your neighbors, especially if this language is also worldwide practiced.
As the event draws to a close, representatives from the French Embassy, Campus France, and Alliance Française highlight benefits to learning a second language.
I have to interact on a daily basis with embassies, international organizations who are looking for bilingual staff members. And it's unfortunate that sometimes they have to start with people who have some skills and then train them for them to learn French, when we have people who are already studying French. Then, of course, we have all the different private companies, French companies, but not only Francophone companies. They have opportunities in Nigeria. They also have opportunities in West Africa. There are a lot of exchanges between France and Nigeria, so also opportunities in Europe. So a lot of opportunities for people who speak French.
We all know the French language it brings about bilateral relations because Nigeria is surrounded by Francophone countries. So it is a very veritable tool when it comes to, mediation, diplomacy, and then even you have many French countries and French organizations in Nigeria. So and the knowledge of this language is very, very important. Is a door opener.
The French language is very, very vital for you to thrive in businesses within and around Africa. So French up your career is also important for students to know that not just about learning the French language in school, is also beneficial for your career in the sense that aside Africa, other countries of the world where French language is obtainable.
The opportunities are endless, they say. And with Nigeria surrounded by French-speaking countries, it behoves on her citizens to parler français. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
Take a break now on the program. Still to come. Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, commissions projects in Banana Island. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Here in Nigeria, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has inaugurated 6 projects at Banana Island in the Ikoyi area of Lagos State. Speaking during the commissioning of projects in different parts of the Banana Island, Governor Sanwo-Olu commended all the house owners in the estate for complying with Lagos State building laws and assures them of supporting the estate to create a thriving, secure and healthy community.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, arrives at Banana Island, Ikoyi area of Lagos for the inauguration of projects initiated by Property Owners and Residents Association of Banana Island Estate. One after the other, Governor Sanwo-Olu commissions the administrative office, the gatehouse, a firefighting truck, 2 tennis courts, recreational garden, and Banana Island Boat Club. The residents lead the governor to the hall, where the chairman of Banana Island Property Owners and Residents Association of Lagos State says the commissioning of the projects has redefined communal living in the area.
The other thing I'd like to say, Your Excellency, because I know how very busy your day is today, is to make a plea. The access road to Banana, when it rains, sometimes the estate is locked down. I want to make a special plea. I know you. When you make a promise, you deliver. I hope you will make a promise today.
Governor Sanwo-Olu commends property owners in Banana Island Estate for complying with the state building laws and assures them of addressing the perennial flooding affecting the estate.
You made a request. I know that the challenge on that road is the major outfall. And so we need to be able to discharge that water, right, onto the canal that is out on the right, and see how we also can navigate some canal and get it on the left. It's unfortunate that an island that is Banana Island does not even have access to enough water to discharge its water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, ask my Commissioner for Environment and Drainage, who I would keep his name for security reasons, to let us look at it again. They will come back and let us see if there is a bigger solution we can. My fear is that on that road, there's somebody that has blocked that drainage. And that's why all of you in one form are suffering that.
The Lagos State government encourages other residents' association to support government activities and contribute their quota in developing the state.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and the British Council are urging federal and state governments to shift focus from policy formation to implementation in the country's efforts towards inclusive education for children. The international development partners made the call at the annual Inclusive Education Conference in Abuja.
Officials of the British Council, UNICEF, and other development partners in the education and civic space gather to discuss inclusive education for children. It's an annual conference that allows participants to discuss solutions to barriers that prevent children from accessing quality education.
When we look at the number of out-of-school children, some of the depths of learning problems in the country today, these are not new challenges that have just appeared overnight. These are long-term trends and need systemic solutions. But policy documents and guidelines will not be enough alone without a lot of concerted action.
There's a lot of emergency situation across the country, and we're having children that have been displaced. So irrespective of where that child lives, irrespective of whether that child is on the move, yes, every child must have that access to quality education. That is how we can build a stronger and more inclusive Nigeria.
Globally, education strategies are evolving, which seeks to secure a high-quality and inclusive education system for excluded populations. To make this happen in Nigeria, there is emphasis on the need to bridge the gap between policy formation and implementation.
We have to acknowledge that the Nigerian government has made considerable progress with the formulation of the inclusive education policy. Ours, however, is the responsibility of ensuring that the policy that was recently approved is fully implemented and measures.
The government of Nigeria has taken decisive actions to improve these conditions. In 2019, as stated earlier, the government signed into law the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act, prohibiting discrimination on the base of disability. That is the policy. Practice still requires some work.
The conference is expected to generate recommendations that will enable states and federal governments improve the alignment of inclusive education policies and the practice.
And just before the theatre curtains open at the various scheduled venues of the Lagos International Theatre Festival, the festival founder Bolanle Austin Peters hosts a cocktail of food and theatre as a side event to usher in the festival proper in a few days.
It's a few days to the inaugural edition of the Lagos International Theatre Festival, and the founder, Bolanle Austin Peters, is treating some of her friends and associates to a special evening dining at the rooftop restaurant Cali, Victoria Island. Her small group turn up with excitement ahead of the festival that the founder, a staunch theatre advocate of over 2 decades, describes as a full journey and a half.
You know, it's been a journey and a half, and I think the beauty of life is that, you know, when you're at a place where you're celebrated, just be thankful. I'm thankful, and I'm also thankful especially that we're able to bring the community together, that we're able to create the jobs that we create, that we're able to transfer the skills that we transfer. But I think over and above all, we're going to be creating a lot of excitement for Nigerians.
The dinner table soon gets filled and the menu is as good as the ambience. The taste, the empty plates tells the story. And it was indeed a night of story as guests present get an exclusive preview to a scene from one of the slated headline performances at the upcoming festival titled Dear Cafe.
Tell me where you did. Oh, I'm right here, darling. Last Saturday, I go meet you there, cause I miss you every day. Call me any day, I'll be on my way.
It chronicles the challenges of a single lady finding love in a cosmopolitan city like Lagos.
So I am the one that gave you this thing now, right? I'm not saying that. You shut up.
The festival is expected to host scores of performances across 3 days, with performances from the United States of America, South Africa, and Zambia, joining forces with multiple production houses in Nigeria. Festival director Vanessa Jev can't wait to see the performers get on the stage.
So the theme is unmasking culture. So it's almost like this idea of getting to see what goes on, what it is to be Nigerian talent on stage. So it's really about showcasing the art and the creativity that exists and how it's been elevated over the many years.
One of the guests, Debola Williams, popularly known as Debola Lagos, believes the festival holds the potential to unlock some economic potentials within the growing Nigerian creative space.
The economics around it, the costumiers, the dancers, the musicians, the makeup artists, is an entire value chain that is now, of course, bringing in, such a good amount of prosperity for the country, for the continent.
The Lagos International Theatre Festival kicks off on the 14th and runs through to the 17th of November 2024.
And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.